This video is brought to you by 3, bringing you 4G at no extra cost and some exclusive deals over at btech.com. Two phones, 720p screens and 13 megapixel cameras, but two very different price tags. How does the HTC One Mini 2 stack up against the Acer Liquid E3? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
If there's ever an area that HTC One Mini 2 wins 9 times out of 10 against virtually every other device on the market, it has got to be design. It feels super premium for a £350 phone. All metal, brushed metal no less. The plastic rim around the side doesn't really detract too much given the fact it's so cohesively implemented. As far as connections go, you've got your standards micro USB up top and bottom, and you've got all your SIM and micro SD card slots underneath flaps. In addition, the design highlight has got to be those boom sound speakers, giving a real sense of HTC identity to the phone. The Acer Liquid E3 isn't a badly designed phone by any means. It's got a red accent up top and bottom, giving it some fun factor. The bottom one is a front-facing mono speaker. It is plastic though, the edges are sharper, they do dig into the heels of your hands ever so slightly. The backing is soft touch plastic, which is really pretty comfortable in the hand, but it does attract sweaty palm prints like no other. That said, generally, thumbs up, it feels solid. All your card slots are underneath a flap on the right hand side, and the left hand side, sorry. In addition, like we said, with the HTC One, micro USB at the base, 3.5mm headphone jack up top. You've got the 13 megapixel camera on the reverse of both, along with a flash. And on the Acer device, you've also got a quick fire button, so you can set that to whatever application you want within reason. The screens are both 720p, and with only 0.2 inches discrepancy in terms of size, they should be very comparable, and indeed they are, at least in terms of sharpness. The HTC One Mini 2 has a PPI of 326 pixels per inch, whereas the Acer Liquid E3 312, so that is almost negligible. So we can just pan through there. You can see if we jump into the applications tray on both, like so, and swipe across here. Both look really good. You may have been able to tell the Acer Liquid E3's viewing angles aren't quite as on point as the HTC One Mini 2, so they do fade out a little bit sooner. And generally the quality in terms of white balance, etc., isn't as good. It's a little bit warmer, a little bit yellower. But like we said, for £135, you're not going to really get a better display, except for maybe the Motorola Moto G. You've also got very different versions of Android. You've got 4.2 on the Acer Liquid E3 and 4.4 on the HTC One Mini 2. So HTC's brought a more recent version. You've also got different skins. There's Sense 6, which is HTC's latest version of Sense. We can put the Acer Liquid E3 down for 1 second and just run you through what to expect from that. So that's a variable number of home screens with a pinch. As you can see, you've also got blink feed and a range of custom HTC widgets. 1 finger down gives you your notifications tray, it's super clean. 2 fingers down gives you your quick toggles, and of course you have your applications as well, which is a vertically scrolling list by contrast to the horizontally scrolling list in stock Android. That is, for the most part, it's relatively simple to get your head around. The hardest thing to really know about is blink feed, and blink feed is an aggregate, so it's going to aggregate social media content, not to mention feeds from your favorite news sources. It even takes RSS feeds, which is ace. If we take a look at the Acer Liquid E3, we can see you've got a relatively stock Android experience, but you do have a pinch to overview your home screens and add a new one. That's much more similar to the old style HTC Leap mode. If we swipe down 1 finger, it's notifications. Swipe down 2 fingers, it's quick settings once again. And there are a lot more customizations here than we thought there would be when we got this, because Acer used to have a very stock version. Now you've got things like float buttons, so you can make things float. And in addition to that, you can take a screenshot and doodle on it and random other stuff. If we jump into the applications tray, however, we can see that is definitely more stock than HTC's, with its horizontally scrolling menu. And that leads straight through to widgets. But you can also expect an overlay called Quick Mode. We've actually done a video on Quick Mode. Click the annotation to see more about it. And here you can access a basic mode, a senior mode, a keypad mode, a classic mode, a default mode. So it's kind of cool if you are going to be lending your phone to a senior, or indeed buying a phone for someone who is maybe a little bit less technically inclined than yourself. Generally, we have to say we prefer Sense based on how clean it is, and the optimizations are also a little bit smoother. But the Acer Liquid E3's Quick Mode is pretty cool. If you want something like Quick Mode and want to opt for an HTC One Mini 2 or any other phone, you can check out Big Launcher on the Google Play Store. It is around £8 and it is worth every single penny. When it comes to multimedia, it's a pretty simple story. Applications are going to be very, very similar. Although you do only have 4 GB of storage on the Acer Liquid E3, the HTC One Mini 2 has a whopping 16 GB of storage, so you're going to be able to get a lot more games on this thing's flash memory. You can get microSD expandability for both, so for movies and Spotify music, etc., that can be offloaded onto your SD card. But for games specifically, you'll definitely want to opt for the HTC One Mini 2, despite the quad-core performance in the Acer Liquid E3 faring very well indeed. What you can also expect is the same type of application support for movie programs like Netflix, for example, and BBC iPlayer. Where the two will differ is in terms of the sound output. If you're not going to be listening with headphones, those stereo boom sound speakers on the One Mini 2 perform fantastically, whereas the mono speaker on the Acer Liquid E3 is just good. Both of these have 13 megapixel cameras. The Acer Liquid E3's pictures are actually a little bit high resolution. The HTC One Mini 2's camera UI though is better, giving you a lot more options. The HTC One Mini 2's pictures also fare a little bit better in macro. However, the Acer Liquid E3s pull out a little bit more detail in landscape. It's worth saying that they also have front-facing cameras, 5 megapixels on the HTC One, 2 megapixels on the Acer Liquid E2. So the HTC One is significantly sharper, even though you do have a flash on the Acer Liquid E3. So the Acer Liquid E3 is actually significantly more flattering. They both record full HD video, and the HTC One Mini 2's full HD video is slightly better in terms of color accuracy and white balance specifically. When it comes to performance, they are very similar, although the HTC One Mini 2 did beat out the Acer Liquid E3 both in terms of Antutu and Vellamo. So if we open up Antutu quickly, the Antutu score on the HTC One Mini 2 is 1719, whereas it was 13651 on the Acer Liquid E3. As far as battery life goes, the Liquid E3 packs a 2000 mAh battery, whereas there is a 2100 mAh battery on the HTC One Mini 2. The One Mini 2 has got higher brightness in terms of the screen, or at least it looks like it, but it still manages to give you better battery life as long as you keep the screen on auto. The Acer Liquid E3 and HTC One Mini 2 will both comfortably last a day with most typical use case scenarios. Hopefully you'll have a better idea as to why you'd opt for an HTC One Mini 2 over an Acer Liquid E3 or an Acer Liquid E3 over an HTC One Mini 2. The HTC One Mini 2 kind of nails it in most areas when it comes to design. It feels more premium, the screen's better quality, and the camera's slightly better, the front-facing camera significantly so. Also with those boom sound speakers, it produces better noise when watching things like movies. Having said that, the Acer Liquid E3 still manages to be relatively best in class when it comes to the screen in terms of that 4.7-inch size and that 720p quality. You've also got that good 13 megapixel camera and full HD recording, which is perfectly respectable. The user interface with that quick mode also makes it easier if you're looking for a phone that you might share with or buy for someone who is a little bit visually impaired or not so technically inclined as yourselves. As we said earlier, two good phones, two very different price points, two very similar sets of specs in a lot of areas. If you have any questions about either of them, fire them in the comments section below. If you like the video, make sure you click like. If you like the channel, click subscribe and head over to BTech. There you can find the latest in smartphones, tablets, smart gadgets, and some awesome deals as well.
At the top of the screen is where you can find 3 hand-picked videos for your viewing pleasure. On the left is where you can subscribe, and on the right hand side you can find some exclusive deals if you head over to btech.com.